In the heart of Idaho, bikers ambushed Lisa and her son Jamie, until their stray dog, Ranger, charged in, scattering the attackers and saving a family from a dark past. This true tale of bravery and love will grip your soul. Love epic rescues and heartwarming twists. Subscribe now and join us for more incredible stories. The late afternoon sun dipped low over Willow Creek, Idaho, on August 24, 2024, casting long shadows across the gravel parking lot of Millie's Diner. The small town, nestled between rolling hills and dense pine forests, buzzed with the gentle rhythm of a Saturday, locals chatting over pie, the jukebox crooning Patsy Cline. Lisa Harper, 32, stepped out after her shift, her green eyes weary but warm as she clutched her 6-year-old son Jamie's hand. Jamie, with his tousled blonde hair and bright blue eyes that sparkled with curiosity, swung a small backpack over one shoulder, his sneakers scuffing the stones. Lisa was a familiar face in Willow Creek, though she'd only returned 3 months ago. She'd grown up here, the only child of Reverend Daniel Harper and his quiet wife, Ellen, in a clapboard house on the edge of town. At 19, she'd fled for Boise, chasing a nursing degree and a life beyond the preacher's stern rules. But love, or a fleeting illusion of it, had other plans. Jamie's father, Cole, a drifter with a quick smile and empty promises, left her 6 months pregnant, broke, and alone in a cramped apartment. She'd returned home, tail between her legs, only to lose her parents 2 years later in a fire blamed on faulty wiring. The insurance money got her through odd jobs in Spokane and Missoula, but Willow Creek's pull, its promise of roots for Jamie, brought her back. Now, she waitressed at Millie's, renting a one-bedroom above the hardware store, piecing together a fragile new start. Jamie was her heart, a quiet boy with a resilience that belied his age. His observant gaze missed nothing, learned, perhaps, from years of gauging her moods through tough times. He loved dinosaur books from the library and whispered secrets to stray cats behind their building, his soft voice a comfort to Lisa's long nights. For months, he'd befriended a German shepherd he named Ranger, sneaking him bits of bread or chicken under Lisa's wary eye. "He's my friend, Mom," he'd plead, and she'd relent, charmed by the joy it sparked in him despite her worries about the scruffy stray. That afternoon, as they crossed the lot, the air shifted, a low rumble growing into the roar of motorcycles. 5 men in weathered leather jackets rolled in, tires spitting gravel, their presence a storm cloud over the day's peace. The leader, Travis Miller, dismounted, a hulking figure with a scarred cheek and a sneer that chilled Lisa's blood. His dark eyes locked on her, venomous. "You shouldn't have come back, Lisa," he growled, his voice rough as the road he'd ridden. "Willow Creek don't need you stirring up trouble." Lisa tightened her grip on Jamie, pushing him behind her denim-clad legs. "Leave us alone, Travis. We're just living our lives." Her voice trembled, but she stood tall, memories of high school flashing, Travis's crude advances, her sharp rejection, his lingering grudge. A wiry biker with a snake tattoo yanked Jamie's arm, tearing him from her. "Mom!" Jamie cried, kicking as the man hoisted him by his collar. Lisa lunged, but Travis's fist slammed into her cheek, sending her crashing to the asphalt. Pain exploded, hot and sharp, blood trickled from her lip as she gasped. Jamie screamed, tears streaming as he dangled in the biker's grip. Lisa clawed to her knees, only to catch a boot to her ribs, crumpling her again. "Please," she begged, reaching for her son. "He's just a kid." Cruel laughter answered, Travis looming over her, until a low, menacing growl cut through the chaos. From behind a dumpster, a blur of gray and black fur launched, a massive German shepherd. Ranger, his jaws clamping onto the wiry biker's arm. The man howled, dropping Jamie as the dog's attack unleashed pandemonium. Ranger was a force, scarred muzzle snapping, powerful frame weaving through the bikers with fierce precision. Travis swung a fist, missing as the dog darted, buying Lisa time. She scrambled up, grabbed Jamie, and bolted behind the diner, her breath ragged, arms tight around her boy. "You okay, baby?" she whispered, checking his tear-streaked face, the red marks on his wrist from the biker's grip. He nodded, clutching her sleeve. "Ranger saved us, Mom." Peering back, they saw Ranger standing his ground, amber eyes blazing as the bikers retreated to their bikes, cursing and nursing wounds. Travis spat blood, glaring their way, but the dog's snarl held him at bay until the engines roared off. Fading into the distance, Lisa pulled Jamie closer, trembling. "We're safe now, sweetheart." Ranger patted over, his demeanor softening, nudging Jamie's hand with a cold nose. "Hey, buddy," Jamie murmured, stroking his thick fur. Lisa smiled through tears, brushing her son's hair. "Looks like we've got a guardian angel with paws." Inside Millie's, regulars gaped through the window. But Lisa waved off their questions, too shaken to talk. She took Jamie to her friend Jenny Larson's trailer on the town's edge, a cozy haven with lace curtains and a cluttered porch. Jenny, 35, a hairdresser with a no-nonsense streak and a heart big as Idaho, gasped at their state. "What in God's name happened?" Lisa recounted the ambush, voice quaking. "Travis and his gang, they've hated me forever. I don't know why now." Jenny brewed tea, frowning. "He's a thug, always was. Runs with a crew tied to shady stuff out by the quarry. You need to tell Sheriff Carter." Lisa hesitated. Small-town law could be a mixed bag, but nodded. Ranger followed them in, curling by Jamie's feet. "He's staying," Jenny declared, tossing him a biscuit. "Saved your hides, didn't he?" Lisa tucked Jamie into the spare bed, Ranger beside him. "You're my brave boy," she whispered, kissing his forehead. He clutched her hand. "Ranger won't let them hurt us, Mom." She smiled, but as she lay awake, Travis's threat echoed, "Why her? Why Jamie?" Ranger's growl had sparked a miracle. But the shadows of Willow Creek loomed larger than ever. Dawn painted Jenny's trailer in soft pinks on August 25, 2024, but Lisa hadn't slept. Her bruised cheek throbbed, a dull reminder of Travis's fist. And her mind churned with the bikers' snarls and Ranger's fierce rescue. Jamie slept beside Ranger, the dog's steady breathing a comfort in the cramped guest room, his scarred muzzle resting on the boy's arm. Jenny bustled in with coffee, her voice firm over the sizzle of bacon. "You're going to Sheriff Carter today, Lisa. This ain't a bar fight, those men meant real harm." Lisa nodded, sipping the bitter brew, her hands still trembling. "I know, Jen. Travis said I shouldn't have come back, like it's personal. But why escalate now?" Jenny flipped bacon, brow furrowed. "He was a bully in school, hated you after you ditched him for Mike at prom. Thought he'd moved on, but this? It's bigger than teenage spite." Jamie shuffled in, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Ranger at his heels. "Mom, can Ranger stay with us forever?" Lisa knelt, hugging him tight. "We'll see, buddy. He's our hero, isn't he? After breakfast, pancakes Jamie barely touched, they drove to the sheriff's station. Ranger sprawled in the back seat, head out the window, ears flapping. Sheriff Tom Carter, a wiry man in his 50s with a salt and pepper mustache and a faded Stetson, greeted them in his cluttered office. Walls lined with fishing trophies and yellowed wanted posters. "Lisa Harper," he said, leaning back in his creaky chair. "Heard you were back. What's this about bikers?" Lisa recounted the attack, Travis's punch, Jamie's cries, Ranger's intervention, her voice steady but hands clutching her purse. Jamie piped up, "Ranger bit the bad guy, Sheriff. He saved us." Tom's eyes narrowed, scribbling notes on a legal pad. Travis Miller and his crew, troublemakers, every last one. Been quiet lately, but they run with a gang out near the old quarry. Any idea why they'd target you? Lisa shook her head, brushing a strand of auburn hair from her face. "I've been gone years, thought I'd left all that behind. Maybe an old grudge?" Tom studied her, then Jamie, his gaze lingering on the boy's wrist marks. "We'll look into it." "That dog's a stray?" "Jamie's friend," she said. "No chip, no collar, vet checked him last month. Just showed up one day." Back at Jenny's, Lisa's unease deepened. Travis's words, "You shouldn't have come back," gnawed at her like a splinter. She'd humiliated him in high school, sure, dancing with Mike Reynolds instead of him at prom, laughing off his sloppy advances, but this felt heavier. Rooted in something she couldn't see. Jamie played with Ranger in the yard, tossing a frayed rope, his laughter a fleeting balm to her nerves. Jenny joined her on the porch, iced tea sweating in her hands. "You think it's about your folks' land?" Lisa froze. The Harper property, 40 acres of forest her dad inherited from his granddad, sat abandoned since the fire, overgrown with weeds and memories. No one's touched it. Why would they care now? Their answer rolled up at dusk in a battered pickup. Mike Reynolds stepped out, his once boyish face hardened by time, dark eyes hesitant under a faded ball cap. At 35, he carried the weight of years, broad shoulders slouched, hands calloused from labor and regret. "Lisa," he said, voice low, "we need to talk." Jamie ran over, Ranger growling softly until Mike knelt, offering a hand. "Hey, little man. Nice dog." Lisa crossed her arms, wary. "What's this about, Mike?" Inside, over Jenny's iced tea, Mike's story poured out like a river breaking a dam. "I've been a wreck since you left, drinking, gambling, lost my way after the army. Iraq broke something in me, nightmares, you name it. Got mixed up with Travis's crew couple years back." Lisa softened, she remembered his letters from overseas, full of dreams before silence took him. 2 nights ago, he continued, Travis lost big at poker with some guy from Boise, owed thousands. Drunk, he bet something else to clear it, you and Jamie. Lisa's blood ran cold, her glass clattering to the table. "What?" Mike rubbed his face, guilt carving lines deeper. "He said he'd hand you over, claimed you're tied to something valuable. I didn't know what, till I heard about the diner. Tried to stop him, Lisa, I swear." Jamie clung to Ranger, eyes wide. "Why us, Mom?" She pulled him close, stroking his hair. "I don't know, baby. But we're safe now." Mike's next words chilled her to the bone. "It's your land, Lisa. Travis thinks it's worth millions, mineral rights, copper deposits your great-grandpa filed. He's working for someone bigger, someone who's watched you since the fire. Her parents' death flashed back, smoke choking the air, screams swallowed by flames, the official ruling of faulty wiring she'd accepted through grief's fog. You think it wasn't an accident? Mike nodded grimly. I don't know for sure. But I heard whispers, someone wanted that land clear. I'm here to fix this, I owe you that much. Lisa's mind spun, piecing together fragments. Her dad had preached against greed, clashing with local bigwigs like Travis's uncle, a councilman back then. Had they coveted the land even then? That night, she couldn't sleep, Mike's warning looping endlessly. She called Sheriff Carter, leaving a shaky voicemail about the land theory. At 3 a.m., headlights pierced the dark, motorcycles circling Jenny's trailer. Jamie, up, she hissed, grabbing him and Ranger. They hid in the pantry, her heart hammering as engines growled closer, Travis's voice barking, "Find M." A shotgun blast split the air, Mike. On the porch, firing skyward. Back off, Travis. This ends now. The bikers hesitated, leather creaking, then peeled out, their retreat a fleeting victory. Mike stumbled in, pale but resolute. Sweat beading his brow. They'll be back. We need to move. Lisa met his gaze, trust flickering for the boy she'd once loved. With Jamie clutching Ranger, they fled into the night. A fragile family bound by danger and a dog's unshakable loyalty, racing toward answers in the shadows of Willow Creek. Dawn broke over the Idaho wilderness on August 26, 2024. The sky a watercolor wash of orange and gray. Lisa, Jamie, Mike, and Ranger huddled in Mike's old hunting cabin, 20 miles from Willow Creek, a weathered shack tucked deep in the pines. The single room smelled of damp wood and nostalgia. Mike's dad had built it decades ago, a retreat for fishing trips now reduced to peeling paint and a rusted stove. Lisa settled Jamie on a cot. His small frame dwarfed by a patched quilt, Ranger curling beside him like a sentinel. Mike stoked a fire, embers crackling as he handed her a mug of instant coffee, steam curling in the chill. We're safe here, for now, he said, voice rough with exhaustion. Travis won't quit till he's got what he's after. Lisa's mind raced, her bruised cheek a dull ache as she sipped the bitter brew. The land, copper deposits? Dad never mentioned anything like that. He just wanted to keep it wild. Mike nodded, pulling a folded map from his jacket, its edges frayed from years in a glove box. He didn't know. I dug into it after Travis bragged. Your great-grandpa filed mineral rights in 1910. Worthless back then, millions now with mining tech. Someone's been after it since. Jamie stirred, petting Ranger's scarred muzzle. Like a treasure, Mom. She smiled faintly, brushing his hair. Maybe, sweetie. A treasure someone's fighting dirty for. Sheriff Tom Carter arrived mid-morning. His cruiser crunching up the dirt path, dust swirling in his wake. He stepped out, Stetson tilted, eyeing Mike warily. Got your message, Lisa. Reynolds, you in this too? Mike squared his shoulders. Meeting the sheriff's gaze. Trying to make it right, Tom. Travis attacked them, wants Lisa's land for some big shot in Boise. Carter studied the map, tracing the Harper property's outline with a calloused finger. Then looked at Lisa. Your folks' fire, I always wondered. Too clean for an accident, no scorch outside the house. I'll call the state police, but we need proof, deeds, anything. Lisa's stomach nodded, memories of smoke and loss clawing back. Dad kept papers in a lockbox, never saw it after the fire. Mike chimed in, if it's still there, it's on the land. We gotta check. That afternoon, they trekked to the Harper property, overgrown, eerie, a graveyard of charred beams and tangled vines where her childhood home once stood. Ranger led. Nose to the ground, as if sensing their mission, his amber eyes sharp. Jamie held Lisa's hand, brave despite the shadows, his red bandana peeking from his pocket, a talisman from a life he barely remembered. Near the old barn, its roof caved in years ago, Mike spotted a rusted lockbox half buried under gnarled roots, glinting in the fading light. "Your dad's?" he asked, kneeling. Lisa pried it open with a stick. Hinges groaning, inside, yellowed deeds, mineral rights, and a letter in her father's tight scrawl. "Lisa, if you're reading this, they got me. The land's our legacy, copper under the pines. Greed took us, don't let it take you. Protect Jamie." Tears blurred her vision as she handed it to Carter. "Proof," she whispered. "They killed them for this." Travis struck at dusk. As the sun bled red over the hills, motorcycles roared in, 5 riders circling the ruins like vultures, dust choking the air. Lisa shoved Jamie behind a gnarled oak, Ranger growling low. As Mike and Carter drew weapons, a shotgun and a service pistol. "Give it up, Lisa," Travis bellowed, dismounting, a .45 gleaming in his hand. "That land's mine, hand it over." Before bullets flew, Ranger charged, a gray blur slamming into Travis, teeth bared, knocking the gun loose. Chaos erupted. Carter fired a warning shot into the dirt, Mike tackled a biker swinging a chain. And Lisa shielded Jamie, her heart in her throat. Then, a miracle, sirens wailed, state police swarming in, lights flashing through the trees. Travis cursed, pinned by Ranger's weight. As troopers cuffed his crew, their bikes toppling in the fray. Lieutenant Maria Grace, a stern woman with gray-streaked hair, approached Lisa, badge glinting. "Sheriff called us, your evidence checks out." This goes higher than Travis. Hours later, at the station, the truth unraveled. A Boise developer, Victor Lang, linked to Travis through bribes, had orchestrated the fire to claim the land, corrupting officials for decades. The lockbox, deeds, rights, a list of payoffs, broke the case wide open, implicating Lang and half the old county council. 6 months later, February 15, 2025, the Harpers rebuilt on their land, a modest house with cedar siding and a wide porch where Jamie and Ranger chased snowflakes. Mike, sober and healing, hammered nails beside them. His redemption a quiet gift after months of AA meetings and late-night talks with Lisa. Travis faced trial, Lang indicted, the corruption crumbling like dry earth. Lisa framed her dad's letter above the fireplace, a testament to their fight. One snowy evening, Jamie hugged Ranger tight. "You're our family, boy." Lisa smiled at Mike, then Jamie, her hand finding his. "We all are, stronger together." Their story, of a dog's fierce love, a mother's unbreakable courage, and a legacy reclaimed, became Willow Creek's heartbeat, proof that from ashes and broken trust, a family can rise. Rooted deep in love's enduring soil. Lisa, Jamie, and Ranger's story teaches us that love and loyalty can triumph over even the darkest threats, turning strangers into family through courage and second chances. It reminds us that our past doesn't define us, our actions do, and that hope can bloom from the ashes of loss. What does this tale stir in you about forgiveness or standing strong? Share your heart in the comments. Hit like if it moved you, and tag a friend who'd root for Ranger. Let's spread the warmth together.